Now, when you move around as much as I do, of course, you're going to make friends, you're going to make them quickly, but you also discover, no matter where you go, there's always one person who stands out from all the rest, one person who's special, one person who you think is so great, you want everybody else to know them too. And that's the way Zuri Jackson felt about her friend, Deidre Brown. You ought to meet Deidre Brown, the most splendiferous girl in town. I ought to know her. She's my friend. She's not afraid to take a dare. If something's hard, she doesn't care. She'll try her best no matter what. She doesn't mind what people say. She always does things her own way. Her spirit's old, my mom once said. I only know I like her best because she sticks out from all the rest. She's only she, Deidre Brown. Zuri and Deidre, best friends forever. But they didn't start out that way. They began as strangers. And so does every character in every book. They're not just strangers to the reader, they're strangers to the author as well. When I create a new character, I often start out with a name. I collect names everywhere I go. I have a names folder, I put them in, I'll come across an interesting name, jot it down, and I'll take that home and put it in my folder. And then when I'm working on a new book, I'll often go to that folder, pull it out, and see if I find a name that just sparks an idea or interest, or else I'll create the character and then look for the name that seems to match that personality, or match that character. So it can work both ways, but names are very, very important. If a person has a name, a nickname like Slim, for instance, what would that tell you? Yes?
Slim? Like...
His nickname is Slim.
Like skinny?
Okay, that person is skinny. What if you met a girl called Speed? She's pretty fast. Okay, this is a little harder. What if you met a kid? This is a kid, mind you. What if you met a kid called Preacher? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, yes? Talks about a spade or something. So anyway, you get the idea. Anything maybe not as specific, but if you choose a name, if your person name like Tom or Jane, it's a lot easier for them to sort of blend in. But if somebody is named Octavia or Toussaint, that's going to make them stand out. So names are very important. Now, of course, sometimes when I'm writing, particularly writing a poem and I choose a name, I'm also listening for the number of syllables in that name so that it works with whatever rhyme I'm setting up. That's some of the reason I chose the name Hassani for the poem Snack Time in Is It Far to Zanzibar. It's a poem about a grain called millet, which is a little bit like cream of wheat. So keep that in mind as we do the poem. Now I'm going to say the poem and I want you to repeat after me. A fly buzzed around Hassani's head. I thought that he would kill it. He tossed it in a bowl instead. And ate it with his millet. Ooh, yeah, isn't that a yummy poem? Okay, as I said, I collect names everywhere I go, and I'm visiting schools and libraries or conferences, and I jot them down, and sometimes I would start off new work with that name. Now, when I was working on the book, Jasmine's Notebook, that's what I did. I went first to my name file, and I pulled out the name Jasmine, not because I hadn't heard it before, but because I'd come across a really interesting spelling. And the spelling in my file was Jazmyn, and I started, what about the Z? I was like, why would somebody put Z in their name, you know, in this particular name? Well, I'm thinking about that and wondering how that spelling came to be. I created a story to explain it, and that story became the first chapter of the novel, Jasmine's Notebook. And this is a little bit of it. According to my sister Cece, the night before I was born, Mom and Dad sat in the living room, timing Mom's early contractions and arguing about my name during the minutes in between. They both agreed on the name itself, but spent half the night fighting about the spelling. Apparently, my father wanted my name to be a sort of homage to jazz. He sold insurance for a living, but he was a frustrating sax man. And he figured if he couldn't spend his life playing jazz, he at least ought to be able to honor his love of America's only original art form by making it part of his baby daughter's name. He won the argument eventually. And so my birth certificate reads Jasmine Shelby. That's Jasmine with a Z. Okay, so after I picked out a name, I have to create something called a character sketch. The character sketch is sort of like a brief biography of a fictional person. Now, when you meet a real person, after you find out their name, what other kinds of things do you want to know about them? Yes?
How they live.
How they live? Okay, yeah. How old they are? Yeah. What do they like to do? Okay. What? If you could be friends, okay. Yes. But okay, you've learned the name. What else do you want to know about them? Yeah?
Their personality.
The personality. Okay, that's something you get to know over time. But what things can you ask them that they can tell you about themselves? Yes.
Where they live.
Where they live? Yeah.
What they like to do.
What?
What they like to do.
Okay, what do they like to do? Like sports, hobbies, what their interests are, what their favorite color is. You know, do they have any brothers and sisters? All those kinds of things you want to find out about a person. Well, you ask those kinds of questions about a fictional character, and you write down the answers, and bit by bit you begin to develop a character. So, I make a list of each character's interests. Does she like to ride a bike? Does he like to swim or climb trees? Maybe somebody who likes to play basketball like Damon in My Man Blue. The game is 17-4, but scoring isn't why we run and dribble and jump while some aim guns. We hit the hoops and shoot for fun. I love creating new characters, but it's not always easy, except when it comes to figuring out their favorite color, especially if it happens to be the same as mine, which I'm not wearing today. Usually I don't get caught without wearing it, but that's okay. I still love it. Once you've met my friend Denitra, you can spot her miles away. She's the only girl around here who wears purple every day. Whether summer's almost over or spring rains are pouring down, if you see a girl in purple, it must be Denitra Brown. Purple socks and jeans and sneakers, purple ribbons for her hair, purple shirts and slacks and sweaters, even purple underwear. Purple dresses, shorts and sandals, purple coat and purple gloves. There's just no mistake about it. Purple's what Denitra loves. Purple is okay, I guess. I have worn it once or twice, but there's nothing wrong with yellow. Red and blue are also nice. So one day I asked Denitra if once in a while for fun, she would wear another color, just to surprise everyone. But her mom has told her stories about queens and Timbuktu, and it seems they all wore purple, never red or green or blue. Now, she might just be a princess. After all, who's to say? So just in case, she dresses purple each and every day. Now, everybody has a favorite color, and you probably know what that is for your best friend. But it takes a lot longer to figure out what another person is sensitive about, what makes them laugh, what makes them cry, what hurts their feelings. In A Dime a Dozen, I wrote about the difficulty of being a foster child, of wanting love but being afraid to accept it, because I know what that feels like. I remember one foster home, how the mom reached out that first day and gathered me in her arms. However, all the way, unable to explain that her comforting embrace felt like borrowed love. And I was afraid to slip it on like a warm cold in winter, just in case she might later tap me on the shoulder, demanding its return.